The Tuskegee study of syphilis. Was it ethical? Was it legal? And what was it about? The experiment began in 1932 in Macomb County, Alabama. At this time, there was no treatment for syphilis. What is syphilis? It is a venereal disease that is spread by sexual contact. It may cause a variety of unpleasant, persistent, and fatal symptoms, such as nerve infections or cardiovascular issues. The subjects in this experiment were recruited by promises of free medical care, and approximately 600 African American males signed up for this experiment. The background of the participants were mostly illiterate black men from the Tuskegee area. They were sharecroppers by trade, and most had never seen a physician before. The promise of free care was enticing to them. Of the 600 men, 399 had latent syphilis, and the others were a control group who were disease-free. Many may ask what the significance of the study was. It was meant to show that natural syphilis can cause severe cardiac damage in blacks. In the title of this slideshow, it was asked if the experiment was ethical. Well, I would say no. Throughout the experiment, areas such as accountability, the obligation to be truthful to the subjects, and non-maleficence, or the principle of doing no harm, were violated. This particular experiment is considered probably the most immoral and unethical one in U.S. history. Not only were the participants not informed of the procedures they would be given, but the proper consent to perform these exams was not obtained. To entice the participants, the researchers used a misleading advertisement of last chance for special free treatment. Legal issues were also prevalent in this study. Researchers did not offer the proper care to the participants even after the known cure, penicillin, was confirmed. This was one of the violations of the study, to receive proper treatment. Due to this, and possibly other violations, legal actions were put forth on the researchers and the physicians who were involved. There was also potential for legal action on the facility where this was conducted. Since the 1970s, the CDC has acknowledged that the members of this experiment did not give proper informed consent to be part of the study. What impacts did this have on society? Still today, Tuskegee experiment leads some to believe that there is a connection of syphilis and AIDS with only black men. It also provided the foundation for African Americans to continue caution of the medical system and the lack of care they may receive because of the color of their skin. So how can we avoid these issues in today's society and healthcare systems? We should ask, is it possible to not conduct research in the medical world? Medical research is a vital part of the healthcare industry. Without it, many diseases would not have been discovered or studied, and treatments would not be commonly known or available to fight them. With research, many lives have been saved. However, some research participants have been known to have long-term side effects and treatment-related diseases later in life. This is the basis of the importance of obtaining proper consent. What does it mean in healthcare to give consent? In healthcare, giving an informed consent means that a person, the patient, or their legal representative gives consent to the facility and to the physician providing treatment to provide care to their being. It is preferred that this consent is written, not verbal, and it should contain the information that allows the patient to make a sound decision. It should include the procedure or procedures that will be performed, the risks and benefits of those procedures, and if there are any potential alternative exams. What does a patient need to know before giving consent? The patient needs to know an understanding of the risks and benefits of the treatment and know that there may be potential alternative treatments. This information should be given time to be evaluated, and a decision should be made without the influence of family, friends, and others close to the patient. If the patient is incapable of making such a decision for themselves because of their age, mental stability, or conscious state, then a patient-appointed legal decision maker should be contacted on behalf of the patient. Listed here are 7 important principles to follow to ensure ethics and clinical researches are followed. Do you have any others you think could be added to the list? Do you have a favorite in this list that you feel is the most important to follow? Finally, I feel it is important to ask, what is the responsibility of the researchers conducting such experiments? A measure that should be taken when performing a research study is following up on and acting upon tough methods towards those who don't follow the legal principles set from the beginning of the study. These principles need to be followed during conducting a research study, so there are no outliers on the findings. If there's any misguidance or deception during the gathering of data, not only is the study then compromised and possibly worthless, but the chances of being held legally and ethically responsible for the outcomes of the persons involved is significantly increased. One example would be withholding information from the treatment's side effects and what they could be on this subject. This opens the study up to non-maleficence, or the principle for healthcare providers to do no harm to others. If there is harm to anyone involved, legal actions and possibly imposing fines are a possibility.